Welcome to episode 2 of our Commanders rebuilds. We got some decisions to make right out of the gate, hitting free agency. We want to re-sign Kamren Kurl. He's young, he's 25, he's an 82 with the star dev trait. I don't mind spending a little bit more to keep him here, so we're going to give him a 4-year, and he took it. So it's a 4-year, $32 million contract. I just think with the age overall and the star trait, he is worth it, and it prevents us from having to find a replacement in the draft. Kendall Fuller, he's older, 29. He had a high re-sign interest. He didn't like what I sent him. He is a star, 86 overall. He is a scheme fit as well. You know, to me personally, I feel like it's worth trying to, grab him if I can get him on a lower value still, just to hold us over, because I do think there's bigger voids to fill in this roster than corner. And let's look at our mock draft here. We got Steve Vorick, right in, quarterback Eric Sherman, Chris Webber, another DE, which we do need DEs. So to see 2 go in the top 5 is pretty alarming, because we're sitting at number 4. And we also have questions at the quarterback position. So we'll see if that's the case, and there's a really good quarterback still on the board because everybody's taking DE, then we obviously have our answer. Richard Sherman has great to elite throwing power. Don't have a whole lot of information as some of those stats, but he has really good accuracy. He says he's a 1 to 2 round talent, top 5. So that's somebody, and a scheme fit. So this is somebody I might be interested in. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Then we got Lance Klein, also a scheme fit, top 5 projection, round 1 talent. His short accuracy is a little lower, but to see that round 1 solidified talent tells me he's probably better than these other guys. And he's taller, 6'4". I like to see that as well. Kind of a bigger guy, like Josh Allen. We do have a lot of holes. Quarterback's a C, fullback, who cares about fullback, but that's a D. Receiver, we're B-, but we have questions with Scary Terry. Tight end's a D, left guard's a D, center's a C, left end's a C, right end's a D, outside linebacker's D, and quarterback's a C+. And we don't even have a kicker. So that's kind of what we're looking at when we go through these prospects here. Looks like Eric Sherman's the number 1 guy on the board for all regions. And I do want to put a disclaimer here that we didn't do the drafting, the scouting, I should say, for this season. The CPU did it. So we're kind of just going off whatever they decided to look for in the draft. So they obviously scouted quarterbacks, so that helps us a lot. Eric Sherman has elite throwing power, solid strength. That's okay. Good awareness, terrible injury, good play action, good accuracy. His accuracy and under pressure is really good. It's better than Lance Klein, I believe his name was. Throws a beautiful spiral, doesn't get pressure is not great. He doesn't know it's there, which is weird for B awareness. So let's go down to quarterbacks here. So we went through him already. We got Lance Klein next. Jared Burton, round 1 to 2 guy. Lance Klein, beautiful spiral, stands in the pocket well, does well to avoid sacks. Good in the pocket, quick throwing motions, elite strength, elite throwing power. Did not participate in the combine. But yeah, this is a guy I'm actually really interested in. He has everything I look for, except for that short accuracy is a little low. So we're going to go ahead and favor those 2 guys. We're just going to go through some of our prospects here. Lance Klein, though, I would probably take him so far before Eric Sherman. We like Jared Burton as well. I really like guys that have elite throw power like Kristen Nelson. So that's another guy. His awareness is a little low though. But here's a tip for quick scouting quarterbacks in Madden. If they have elite throwing power, I feel like that significantly boosts their odds of being a good quarterback. I know that's silly. I know there's other numbers to look at. but that's a quick one that's almost never failed me. Is just look at their throwing power. If it's not elite, just move on. Honestly, that's just my method. We'll see if it works. Depending on if I draft a quarterback. So far, all 4 of these guys aren't bad options. Then moving on, like 2 to 3 round, we got Jacob Freeman, another taller guy at 6'3" out of USC. He has around 3 to 4 talent. So, if we decide not to go quarterback with our 4th pick, or if we trade down or go DE or linebacker, here's some of our other options. These guys don't have great throw power, so we're not going to favor them. Miles Dotson, again, not great throw power. The traits can tell you a lot too, kind of like standing in the pocket, doesn't see pressure. They'll kind of give you a perspective on things. Ooh, look at Danny Howard here. Potential undrafted free agent, has some not great accuracy, but he does have elite throw power, and he's moved up a lot. It looks like 40 spots this season. Brian Knight, not really standing out a whole lot. Elite strength. Nick Barnett, Mike Sherry, Sanborn, Sean Hart, elite throw power. So we're going to go ahead and favor him too. Again, this is just how I do things. Seth Stringer, not sticking out here. Seth Stringer will be a 3rd stringer. Josh Andrews. So there we go. We got 7 quarterbacks on the board for us to start off with our prospects. So far, I think I like Lance Klein the best and Christian Nelson. Those would be the 2 guys I would keep an eye on. And here's Lance Klein's stats again. Just kind of going through what he's got. He's got really good traits. I'm thinking if he falls to us, he might be the guy. If he gets taken before us, then we might just trade back. Kristen Nelson is around 1, so we'll kind of look at that too. But I think Lance Klein is like the sure shot best option, not only for this team, but just in the draft in particular. Everything's great in his traits, his attributes. Almost a little bit too good to be true. So we're going to look at running backs now. We do have Brian Robinson, so I don't expect us to take a running back early. I still like to go through all these guys and favor the guys that I'm interested in, put them on our board, just because once we hit like round 4, 5, 6, 7, at least for me, I tend to start looking at best available, kind of in coordination of what positions we need. If I need a linebacker and, I'm sitting in round 3 and there's nothing but day 3 guys, I might go and look at, like, say, a running back position or a receiver position that I don't necessarily need. But, you could always, retool and add guys and maybe go that route. So what I like to do on these is I like to look at their attributes on the right side, the letter grades. And we didn't do a lot of scouting, it looks like, in this position. But I'll favor pretty much all the guys that don't have any Fs. It kind of depends on what position, how this works. But if I see, like, right there is two C through Fs, I might skip them just because that scares me. If there's 1 C through F, I might go ahead and throw him on my board. But he also has an F in, it looks like, break tackles. So that right there fails him. I don't know. Let's see, Dre Waller. Catching's an F. These guys are undrafted free agents, so I'm going to be a little bit more lenient. But typically when I go through these guys, if you got 1 F, you're done. Unless, you're a pass rusher, a speed rusher, and you have, like, a D in power or an F in power. That doesn't really mean anything to me because I'm not looking for a guy that utilizes power. You're a speed rusher. So that would be the one thing that changes. Let's go ahead and look at our receivers. Not expecting to draft a guy early, but why not look at some of these guys? I do the same thing here. No Fs, you're going to get a heart. If you have a C through F, you might get a pass. If you got 2 C through Fs, I'm not even interested. So we're going to move through these guys. I'm not super receiver hungry this draft. We'll take one if I feel like we're kind of hit a wall where we're picking. look at tight ends. Not dying for a tight end position. Michael Atkins looks like he's going to be the stud. Chris Van Dyke, Sean Abraham. Actually, there is a decent amount of solid looking tight ends in this draft so far. A lot of A's and C's, a couple F's down here, but those first few guys, we might have a decent collection of tight ends. And we do have, I think, a 75 overall tight end right now. And Phil Turner's not going to cut it. He's our third, and he's 65. So tight end is somebody we're going to keep an eye on. It's a D ranking, so I'm definitely interested. So, all right. Tackles. We needed more guard and center help, but I'm not against drafting a guy and moving him around at times if it makes sense. But again, I always go through all the positions, every player, and I just throw them on the board if the quick eyeball test. That's basically what these letter grades are in this game. It's just a quick eyeball test. If they pass the quick eyeball test with those letter grades, throw them on the board, and then when we get into the draft or get a little bit closer to the draft, then we're going to go ahead and go in there and start picking them apart with their combine scores and things like that. For now, this is just how I do things. Left guard, we definitely need another D rank. Looks like they only half-ass scouted these guys for us, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. I know it's like kind of probably not rare, and I'm sure a lot of you Madden players are like this as well. I hate drafting linemen early, especially offensive linemen. So I doubt I'll take one in the first round unless we trade down, or, you know, the quarterback and the Ds that we bought magically all get taken in the 3 picks before us. But we're going to go through here and see if we can snag a guy still. We want an agile left guard. That's what fits our scheme. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't live and die by that. If I feel like there's a guy later in the draft that is best available and he doesn't fit our scheme, but I feel like there's a chance that he gets a superstar development trait, then I'm going to take him because I can just work on him. And, you know, rookies are on longer contracts for cheap, so there's no rush. We do need centers bad, so we're going to go hard some centers. Looks like there's some decent ones. We're sitting at a B+. Again, I'll go through them still just because we can always move them over to the left guard if there's not a left guard in the draft that is overly enticing. So we're going to go through and add some of these guys that passed my eyeball test on the letter grades to the right. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through these guys right now because it doesn't really matter. All you need to know is the guys that I'm harding are guys that I'm going to throw on my board because they passed the letter grade eyeball test. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing with right tackle as well. Let's hit our defensive ends. We need both. We're low on both sides here. Left ends, we are more power, I believe, and the right ends are more speed rushers. So if we want to get, let's say, Dante Robinson, we can go ahead and flip-flop them around. So they're pretty much interchangeable, so you can kind of see what I'm looking for. Right in, we got Steve Warwick, round 1 projection. I think one of our mocks had us taking him. Seems like there's not a whole lot of depth. A couple day 3 guys, Colton Barkley. Donnie Rathman's jumped up 10 spots. Maybe somebody we can keep an eye on. Heading over to DT, we don't really need help at this position. If there's somebody there, great. If we're kind of hitting a wall, but I'm not going to go out of my way to draft this position. And it's kind of funny because it looks like there's some decent depth here. LOLBs, we definitely need help here. Kind kind of go through our top guys. Lucas Bautista seems like he could be a solid. Chris Webber, Noah Ford, Justice Mann, Chad Ivory, Darnell Fox looks pretty good. Next is middle linebackers. We do need help here, unless we can get something in free agency. Jeffrey Whittington, Juan Ellis, Eli Porter. I'm the best, man. ID idiot. Isn't that Eli Porter? I'm pretty sure. Google him if you don't know what I'm talking about. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of depth here. Sends out pretty quick. Another position I wish we had more completion done. Looking at right outside linebackers, we can always flip them with the left outside linebacker if we need to, and draft that speed rusher instead of the pass coverage. Moving with cornerbacks, we'll see what we can get in the draft, the free agency, but we'll go through. This draft's supposed to be deep in corners, so I'm going to go ahead and favor my guys. Isaiah Hamlin, solid catching, block shedding, kick return could be good, tackling's good. Flip it over to free safeties. My safeties are pretty solid. Maybe get some depth, some guys that can maybe grow into a part by the time contracts are over. That's about it. I'm not really looking too hard at safeties right now. All right, let's look at some free agents. What you see is kind of like me speed running through it. Just kind of a time lapse. I'm going to go over just the guys that I ended up getting, how much I got them for, and why. So we'll go ahead and start with Kirk Cousins. I got him for 1 year, $19 million. He's 36 years old. I think no matter what direction we go with quarterback, we no longer have Jacoby Brissett. If we decide to keep Howell, we need a mentor. And if we decide to draft a young guy, we need a mentor / a bridge player. So that was my logic behind that. We re-signed Kendall Fuller, cornerback, to a 1 year, $12 million deal. He's 29 years old. Again, we don't have a whole lot of debt at corner, and I don't really know if I want to waste draft capital on the corners. I don't mind doing it, but I do worry about some of the other positions a little bit more. And he was cheap, all things considered, for his overall. Now, when I say $12 million overall, I am just combining his bonus with salary, and that's what I did with all these guys. Moving on, at 28 years old, we signed Sion Takitaki, outside linebacker, to a 3-year, $25 million deal. He has a solid overall, and he's a star, so that buys us some time. He is on the back half of his career at this point, but it does buy us time to develop some guys underneath him. And I don't mind paying the money when I have, over $100 million in salary cap room. Next is Levante David. He's 34 years old, middle linebacker. Everybody knows who this is at this point. And if you didn't, then you haven't been watching the NFL the last, 10 years. Super Bowl champion, off the Buccaneers. We signed him to a 1 year, $10 million contract. Again, same kind of thing as before. Older guy, but he fills in the position. Still has an 84 overall. A guy that can kind of fill in. And I'm not sure if he, off the top of my head, I don't remember if he had the mentor role, but it's okay. Either way, we can develop a guy or draft a guy next year. We did sign a kicker, Kamren Dicker. He's 24 years old. We signed him to a 2-year, $3 million deal. Very cheap, solid overall, kind of, somebody we can hopefully depend on. And then at 27 years old, Connor Williams, he's a center. We got him 2 years, $9 million, super cheap. He was the last guy I ended up getting in free agency. Couldn't tell you why, but he fell and nobody wanted him. So we got him super cheap on that 2 year for a lineman. So cannot complain. That's probably the steal of the draft if it was an award for that. 29 years old, Tyquan Lewis. He's a left end, 1 year, $7 million. And then 32-year-old Andrew Norwell. He's a left guard, 1 year, $9 million. All right, mock draft 2. What are they looking at now? Looks like they got us taking Danny Howard, potential free agent in the round 1. I mean, I have him favored. He's a strong arm, 6'3" quarterback, 223 pounds out of South Dakota State. He's 22, but his accuracy is questionable and he's bad under pressure. He's good at avoiding the sacks. He's good in the pocket, lightning quick release, gets happy feet and feels non-existent pressure. That's not good. Elite throwing power. I mean, I'm not against drafting this guy, but an F awareness, I think that's setting me up for failure. I don't know if because I favored this guy, the game knows that, but that's weird to see an undrafted free agent this high up with not great attributes. So I'm not against taking this guy, but he's not going to be a first round pick. I'm willing to reach on some of those undrafted quarterbacks once we hit like 3rd, 4th round. That's just me personally. I don't play this game a lot like some of these other streamers. I'm just giving you some baseline things that I think about. Okay. We're gonna, what is this? I think we already did this. As you can see, the improvements on the left-hand side, we got a D in tight end still. D in right end, but we're doing okay on everything else, so. We're just gonna go ahead and advance weeks here. Let's go ahead and look at our 3rd mock draft here. Still got us taking Danny Howard, which is interesting because I would much rather have, in fact, Lance Klein. They think it's going to fall to the 19. I would take Lance Klein. That's who I want. I'm not against trading down at this point. If that's what they think. In fact, let's look at what Lance Klein overall is looking at, and they really don't see Lance Klein being taken. This draft doesn't even have him taken at all in the 1st round. My draft 1 had him going 17th. Am I blind? Yeah, they don't have him going in the 1st at all on this one. And then draft 3, I think he was around that same 17th-ish, 20th, yeah, 19th. So Lance Klein's somebody I really, really want. Let's go through these guys again one last time just to see what's going on. I mean, if somebody like Danny Howard, they really think it's going to get picked up early, that's not somebody that I really think is going to last. I'm gonna go through these guys real quick. Rashawn Hart is interesting. It's a skill set. He's middling. But I don't know if I need a starter this year. I could start with Cousins. No. Briscoe. Damn, this dude's athletic as hell. Terrible. Danny Howard. This guy might just be the guy. Donna Levy. Christian Nielsen's another one that's interesting. See awareness, but he's pretty good under pressure, good at throwing out on the run. He has great accuracy. This play action could be a little better for what I'm looking for. He has good height. Christian Nielsen is a guy that we can snag later on in the draft. He's a 2nd and 3rd round talent. Round run projection, though. That's the only thing that worries me. So hopefully maybe he can fall to us in the second. And I think if we could maybe take a DE and then a QB into the second round, that's kind of what I'm hoping. So we'll see. We'll see how the things fall. I want to trade Terry McLaurin. I think it's a little harder to trade in the offseason, but we're going to go ahead and try. I see we have a young right tackle with a dev trait in a third. That's not terrible. I mean, we don't really need a tackle. 79 and 78, but I'd be open to a guard. Of course, the Colts got Michael Pittman again in a bidding war. That made no sense. And then I get a third, a sixth, and a seventh, and Michael Pittman. Probably on a decent contract, too. That is interesting to me because Michael Pittman, to me, is just as good as Terry McLaurin, and he's 2 years younger. And he has a little bit more than half the cap. That's interesting because we won't have to draft a receiver if that's the case. I'm going to go and look at Michael Pittman's contract after this. Gabe Davis, I'm not really too interested in. He is pretty high rated in this. And I get a second next year. So there's definitely options here. We got David Montgomery, and I get a first, a third, a fifth, and a seventh. That would load us up for next year if we decided to maybe roll with a QB. Man, there's some actually better offers than I thought I was going to get, to be honest. I'm not interested in that. Michael Mayer and a second next year. That is incredible, to be honest, because I need a tight end. Man, I just wish it was this year's second, but I get why. It'd be too good. Cooper Kupp, no. Derek Stanley, that's interesting as well. I don't think so. Tajay Spears, third, 2/3. There is definitely some good options available up here. I want to see what Michael Pittman's contract is. That price point tells me they only have him on a 1 year, though. It's a 3-year contract. 21 million, 14 million a year, 15, 16. That's pretty solid. I'm going to be honest. I think I want him. I already wanted him. So why don't we go ahead and go back and take that trade? I think it gives us a couple more years on a young guy. And then we get the picks to go along with that. So I think it's very fair. Hopefully we get the same deal here. We do. So we won't get anything in this draft but a 6, but that's okay because I think we're getting a superstar player. Let me see what this counter does. If I can maybe get rid of these and just get a second this year. I'd rather do that. Trade declined, but they almost got it. So this pretty much just tells me I'm gonna get this pick. So let's just do. Let's just take this. No. Okay. We'll do 2025 round 6. Okay, cool. They get a 2025 6th round in McLaurin. I get Michael Pittman on a 3-year and 2024 2nd round pick. Just like that. That helps us a lot for this draft. Frees a little cap for us too. Cool. So let's go in here and look at our receiver room now. We got Michael Pittman, Johan, Dotson, Diami Brown, Dax Malini, and still probably need another wideout. But that might be something I just try to get in the draft later on. So let's go ahead and start the draft. Let's see what we can do. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the draft and we are going to skip ahead. We're gonna see who the Bears get. Michael Atkins is kind of what one of the mocks were saying earlier in the year. He was the #1 tight end going into this draft. Now let's see what the Cardinals pick. Eric Sherman, QB out of Florida. Okay, so this is interesting because this is already telling me that those DEs, at least one of those guys that I was interested in, are going to fall to me. Let's see what the Patriots get here. They also need a quarterback. If they get Klein, that's tough because I still want those DEs, but I could maybe trade back also. Ooh, Jaleel Dukes. They went with a cornerback. So let's see what we have in the offers. Pick 17 with a couple others. 29, 12, and a second. To be honest, I feel like trading back in this game doesn't really give you the prices that you should get. This one is good though. First, a second, a third. Pick 23, first, third, 7. I mean, these guys, a lot of the Vikings need a quarterback. Pick 20, pick 19, pick 13. Man, people are throwing some picks at me. But I don't know if any of these are what I'm looking for. I think what I'm going to do is hold and just go ahead and get the best guy on the board that I want. What are the odds that I get the #4 next year? To be honest, I don't want to be in that position. So let's go ahead and make my selection. Steve Warwick is there. Klein's the guy that I want, so we're not even going to look at him. Let's look at some of the other options. So Dante Robinson is available. He is a elite acceleration, elite jumping, elite speed, good strength, great agility. This is a guy that was first in the 40-yard dash, vertical jump, 3 cold drill, and 20-yard shuffle, and 5th in bench presses. This guy is a stud. I think he's going to be great. And I need this position. So I'm in a tough spot because I really need a quarterback. And I don't think a lot of these other guys down here are going to be good. But I think at the end of the day, when you're in this position, you just get the guy that you want. I think Lance Klein is that guy. I think this is a guy that could be our franchise quarterback. He's 6'4", 233, deep accuracies A, mediums B, short C, under pressure A. He throws a beautiful spiral, stands tall in the pocket, does well to avoid sacks, fast majority successful in the pocket, flick the wrist, fast motions. He has an elite strength, elite power. I don't know, man. I got a good feeling about this guy. So we're gonna take him. Oh my God! Holy crap! Hidden. This is what dreams are made of. He is our quarterback. He is our franchise quarterback moving forward. Super bound. Lance Klein, future Hall of Famer, first ballot. And we're going to keep it pushing. Something I want to do now that this has just happened is I want to manage my roster, trade center, and see if anybody's willing to get me anything for Sam Howell. And we ended up trading him. We traded him to the Tennessee Titans for Caleb Farley in a 7th round pick. Caleb Farley is a 74 overall corner. He's a star dev trait. He is on the last year of his contract though, so that's something we got to keep in mind moving forward. But I did think for the value it was worth it. And we're going to go ahead and skip ahead in the draft. Chargers take Tyreek Benson, right tackle. Titans take Damian Parks, left tackle. Giants take Chris Webber, left outside linebacker. Bob Hackett, Falcons. Steve Warwick, one of the write-ins we wanted, taken by Atlanta. That's a great pick. Atlanta is going to be a good team if they can get a quarterback. Nate Edwards. Dante Robinson, another great end, gone. 2 of the teams that should have drafted quarterbacks. Dave Mooney, cornerback, right tackle. 2 Miles Jenkins, free safety. Cliff Boozman, cornerback. LaMichael McCullough, another right end, gone off the board. Chris Nix, right tackle, gone off the board. Another right end. It's gonna be rough. We kind of knew this would happen. Jared Burton, taken by the Steelers. Let's see. Steelers got a right tackle. Dolphins got an outside linebacker. Eagles got a center. Texans got a receiver. Cowboys got a tackle. Green Bay got a safety. Cardinals got a DT. Chiefs got a halfback. Lions got a tackle. Ryan Rucker, receiver from Ohio State. Free safety to San Fran. Kristen Nelson, Bucks, got a great quarterback late. That is a good pick. That was, in my opinion, the second best QB in the draft. We went ahead and just drafted Justin Mann, outside linebacker, elite agility, elite strength, solid speed, great acceleration. He was a 2 to 3 projection, A awareness, and we got the hidden dev trait. So Justice Mann is our second overall pick, and one of the big catalysts in the rebuild on this defense. And he went to school actually where I'm at right now, NC State. So hopefully he can be an immediate factor in our team. Looking at outside linebackers still. Kind of want to look at the tight ends again. We definitely could use some help there. It's not an immediate need, but there was some standouts in my opinion. Sean Abraham, one of these guys, a lot of A's and B's, solid strength, good speed. I really liked Chris Van Dyke though, I remember. Good speed, elite strength, and he is normal. So looks like he could still be solid for us. We'll have to go ahead and see what they rank him at the end of this draft. But hopefully he can slot in there and just be an immediate impact for us. So we got our quarterback, we got a linebacker, and a tight end. Still need left end, but like I said, there really wasn't a whole lot there. I might stock up on some linemen, because you can never have too many linemen if there's any sleepers even available at this point. What Will Woodley's doing. Okay, I like what I see. We're going to go with right guard Will Woodley. And oh my god, he's a diamond. He's a legend from Oregon State. 6'4", 325, 22 years old, Will Woodley. Future first ballot Hall of Famer. But that is our third diamond we found, so that's pretty good news. Usually that's about what I end up with for the whole draft. So if we're already at 3, hopefully we can hit 4. Always can take guys on the front lines here, and right guard definitely will help us. So let's go with our third round pick 4. At this point, I don't mind taking round 3 to 4 guys. We do need an edge rusher, so let's look at Colton Barkley. We're going to go ahead and take him. Good acceleration, good speed, and oh my god, another diamond, 6'2", 268, 22 years old out of Miami. Future Hall of Famer, another first ballot. Can't believe we hit 4 for 4. That's crazy. Don't think I've had this many. He's got okay awareness, but he's got pretty solid numbers everywhere else. So he's pretty much going to be an immediate starter for us, no matter what they rate him. I mean, I'm sitting at like 60 overalls. So awesome pick so far. So far, this draft's been everything we needed it to be. I think we're going to go ahead and take Alex Kurse, speed freak. He probably needs some work, but I'm not looking for a guy to start necessarily right away. So Alex Kurse it is. He's not a diamond. I was wrong on that, but that's okay. I think he'll be a good kick returner, at least. And with our pick 4 in the round 5, we're going to go ahead and take halfback Danny Candidate. 199, 5'9", out of California. He's a normal dev trait, good acceleration, good speed. Somebody that's just could fill in our third string here. And now it's round 6. Johnny Rathman was sitting here. Couldn't figure out why he was sitting here. I mean, he has the first in the 40-yard dash, 3-cone drill, second in the 20-cone shuffle. fourth in bench press. This is a right-ender that fell to the 6th round, and he's only a normal depth trait, but I think he's going to be an immediate impact as well. All right, round 7, pick 1. At this point, we're just going to try to find a guy that might have fell, or maybe even an undrafted free agent that we think is worth snagging in the draft here. We still need help in our outside linebacker position. I remember liking Zach Stevens. He's on our list. We're going to take him. All right. 6 foot, 232, 21 years old. We'll go ahead and see what he can do here. To be honest, with our other pick, I think we should just go ahead and take another outside linebacker for depth. So we're going to go ahead and just take a swing here. We'll go ahead. We could just do Manny Bell here. Elite acceleration. Okay. Normal, but 5'11", 229. We need depth, so it doesn't really matter. And that was the draft. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up and see what all our guys' overalls land. Seemed pretty successful. Didn't find a whole lot of sleepers on the back end here. This draft recap, our number 1 pick, Lance Klein, came in at a 75 overall. It's pretty good. It's better than what we had. He's out of Georgia. Very good throw power. His accuracy could be better, but for a rookie, this is pretty good. It looks like we had a few guys tied up. Chris Van Dyke is a 75 as well. It's pretty good. He did not have the diamond, but that's still a pretty solid pick. Alex Curse, that receiver I drafted, wasn't a diamond as well, but that is a 75 too, and that pretty much guarantees he's our receiver 3, if I'm not mistaken. And Will Woodley, 74. So that's pretty solid. Will Woodley also had a diamond. Justice Mann and Colton Barkley were the other ones. So Justice Mann set in a 70, he's a diamond, and then our right end at a 67, he has a diamond. So these are guys that should all probably start with this roster. I don't see why we wouldn't. So yeah, that was it for our off season. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Got some key playmakers. Hopefully they can slide right in right away and we can see a difference in this team. We did bump our team up to an 83 overall, 83 offense, and 83 defense. So that is significantly up from those late 70s we were in all those positions just a couple months ago. Next episode, we'll go into preseason and we will play a game and go through the first couple weeks statistics. So on that note, we will see you then.